Hearts skipped a beat in early 2018 with the release of trade data. U.S. exports suddenly turned sour in the opening months, and the scourge spread to Europe and the emerging world before the year was half over. This softness led to speculation that the multi-month strong run was over, naturally tapped out, and further beset by tariffs and other walls, real and imagined. Did the pessimists prove right, or is there another story in the works? There's good news and bad in the global numbers. Monthly figures from the CPB in the Netherlands, adjusted for price movements, show that the story was looking a little bleak back in March. Real exports were down 1.2% from December 2017 levels, or almost 7% at annual rates, and thus the concern. Thankfully, they've picked up since then, and the trend through July is good. However, that has only just brought the level of global exports back to the January peak. In-year annualized growth is still a modest 1.2%, quite a bit below earlier expectations. What's the picture in different parts of the world? Well, the place with the loudest official trade-bashing banter, the United States, is actually doing quite well in the growth charts. So far this year, U.S. exports are up 5.7% from year-ago levels against the developing world average of 3.4%. Japan has also managed above-average growth of 4%, although most of their momentum came from late 2017. Europe, at just over 3%, is pulling down the average, and other OECD countries, which includes Canada, were even worse, managing just over 2% growth. Emerging markets typically enjoy faster growth. However, the results for Latin America and Africa are particularly weak so far, at just 0.6 and 0.1% thus far. It gets better from there, though. Emerging Asia grew by 5.2%, and emerging Europe comes out on top at a 6.3% export expansion. Pockets of performance aren't on their own enough to portend better times ahead. If there is bright news, it's on the price side. Year-to-date prices are up 9% globally over 2017 levels, which is an impressive jump. But the US and Japan are not the drivers. Western Europe, on the other hand, is up 12%, and other OECD countries 10%. On prices, emerging markets are running a bit behind the developed world, although emerging Europe breaks the pattern with yearly increases of 19%. Some of this has been due to currency shifts. Inflation doves shouldn't be too dismissive, though. Price movements like this demand scrutiny, and it may be that the poor volume showings aren't so much about soft demand as they are about tight supply constraints. In the developed world, labor is clearly getting harder to find, and not just the skilled type. Constraints have also emerged in industrial capacity. Does this mean that we're hitting an inflation wall? Well, not necessarily. We think there are still plenty of spare workers in the economy, left behind by years of sluggish growth. Where skills have atrophied, training or retraining could help a lot. And on the industrial capacity side, we've long argued that protracted underinvestment has become entrenched, and price spikes are the jolt that businesses need to reset their investment behavior. The presence of pent-up demand in major markets suggests that growth itself isn't faltering, but the economy is hitting a new stride that requires a significant adjustment to hiring and investment practices. If such engagement occurs, global exports still have lots of life left in them. The bottom line? Exports aren't faltering. They're blessed with strong fundamentals. Current movements are sending out signals that it's time to create new productive capacity. Increasingly, future growth depends on it. This is Stephen Tapp, filling in for Peter Hall. We'll be back again next week.